Okay. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Note of Facts. Tonight's show is going to be very, very interesting. The topic I'm going to read about, you'll probably end up hating me more than you hate me now, but I don't really care. But it's something that you should take notice of. The future, you cannot say anything about it, about who will be in charge. The water problem, instead of running for higher office. There is a real world out there. Shrewsbury is getting run down day by day. We have people who care about nothing and forget their families, just to be a big shot. I am, we willfully handle this. Your taxes will always go up. You have the certain holding signs. People that hold signs, coffee runs, you to other meetings to find out issues. You're only repeating what has been said. The day is coming soon, so stay with the Muppet family. One is called Pigpen, and the other one's called Elmo. It seems like that's your mindset. You don't say facts, what the presidents want to hear. But you want to know what Pigpen's eating that day. To the good officials, you're doing a great job. I can count on 5 fingers, too. To the bad officials, you've been called me. Who cares? The rest of the boards are very good. The police, fire, sewer, and water department. All of the men who work for the light department company who is running for town seat. It's funny, but it really isn't. There's nothing funny about Shrewsbury. If you think about running for another board or committee, I'd suggest do it now, or do what you can, because you're not going to be satisfied. What happens? You're not going to be satisfied at all. There's 2 or 3 selectmen that are excellent. That's Mr. Kane, Mr. LeBeau. The zoning board is great. The planning board is great. All your water commissioners are great. The finance board, I wouldn't give you a nickel for them. Every time the school goes up in front of them, they cry big, big tears. And the finance committee gives them all they want for money. Now that's a disgrace. The planning board is excellent. Excellent. The rest of the boards, I can't say a bad thing about them. They're really, really good. But the most outstanding ones are the police, fire, sewer, and water. The police need a building. That's where our main effort should be. Never mind a damn school. We don't need a school. It's what the school department has programmed in your mind. We need a school. We don't need a school. Get that through your heads. And the remainder of the boards work very well together. Why don't you guys put on some hip boots and rain pants and go into the sewers with them and see what they're doing? Nah, you won't do that. No, you won't do that at all. Well, anyway, that's all I got to say about that. Just that some of the officials that we have are a disgrace and always will be. I don't care who they are. Men, women, I don't care who they are. I'm sure there's 2 on the selectmen that really hate my guts, and I'd love to see them walk through the door right now. They wouldn't, because they don't even know how to raise a fist. The finance committee, too many big shots. Donna O'Connor was the chairman of the finance committee. She brainwashed those people to hate everyone. It's the finance committee's way or the highway. Well, not in my book. It's the residents' way or no way at all. That's the way it should be. Okay, Dr. Clermont.
Okay, very good, Bob. Going to talk a little bit about ageism. Ageism. What is it? Well, I'll give you the definition that the World Health Organization uses. They define it as the stereotyping, prejudice, and discrimination against people based on their age. Now, why am I talking about this? Well, I recently read an article that Massachusetts ranked 48th out of 50 states in a state that would be best for retirement. Now, why are they so poor as far as the ranking goes for retirement? Most of the time, it was financial. But let's go into it a little bit more. You probably don't remember Betty Davis. I know when I mention the name, a lot of people, who the hell is that?
I remember.
Yeah, I'm sure you do.
I remember. She was funny.
But she mentioned a lot of different things during the course of her actress career and all. She said, old age ain't no place for sissies. And that holds up. That holds up. At any rate, you talk to seniors now, and I do. I talk to the seniors. What are the important things in their lives now? Number one, family. That's what keeps them going. If they don't have a family, it's their friends, their relatives, whatever. That's what keeps them going. What are the things that they worry about? Well, that's where the ageism comes in. Number one on the list of what they worry about is housing. Housing. Now, we'll take Shrewsbury, and we need to take Shrewsbury into account because this is where we live. We love it. A lot of you helped to build it up. Got it to where it is now, until it started to deteriorate in the last decade or so. Actually, a couple of decades now, where things have been going downhill. Housing. How much affordable housing is in Shrewsbury? Not easy to get the figures. The last figure I had was 6.2%. Now, we're supposed to be mandated by the state, according to 40B, to have a 10% affordable housing. Now, I admit there's a lot of communities in Massachusetts that don't have that 10%, not even close. In fact, probably only 15% of all of the towns in Massachusetts have the 10% affordable housing. No reason why we shouldn't. They're putting up housing left and right. A lot of construction going on. Won't be much room left in Shrewsbury if they keep putting up these big buildings and all. How much is affordable? Well, it's up to the selectmen, and it's up to the boards that they see. They can tell them, they can mandate that they have a certain percentage of their units, affordable units. So it's up, again, I put the burden onto the selectmen. They're the ones that are not increasing the numbers. So that's the housing part. That was number one on the senior list. Number two is health care. We're the most expensive state for health care. Central Massachusetts is the highest of all the counties in Massachusetts. So we're highest in the world. We should be proud. Number one, cost us more for health care than anybody else. Now, are you getting the health care? That's the issue. Are you getting it? There's a lot of people who are hurting. They can't afford their medicine. So they cut back. I know this. I gave out a lot of free insulin, for example. A lot. When I was at St. Anne's and then at the senior center. I know that these diabetics cannot afford it. Now I don't go to the senior center. Where are they getting it now? They can't. They can't. I hate to tell you how many have gone into the emergency room with ketoacidosis because they could not get insulin. Again, we can thank our selectmen for that. Number 3, food. Now, we do have a program, for example, at the senior center, but it's run, of course, by Elder Services in Worcester, so this has nothing to do with Shrewsbury per se. But they deliver Meals on Wheels to people, and they can come to the senior center to get their food as well. That program is a very good program, and it should be expanded. It should be expanded. We have not expanded it in quite some time. Number 4 on the list for the seniors is transportation. If you can't drive, you're stuck. Now, of course, we have busing over at the senior center as well. How many buses? Well, now we have 3. Do you know how long it took to get that last bus? It took over 10 years of asking for that from the town to get one more bus for the senior center. 10 years. Ridiculous. All the excuses that they gave. Also, when do these buses run? They run up to 3 p.m., 3 in the afternoon, and they don't run on weekends. In other words, what they're trying to do, get the seniors off the road, get them the hell back in the house after 3, and don't come out on weekends. We don't want you participating in stuff on weekends. Isn't that wonderful? Isn't it wonderful? Also, we do have some senior housing here in Shrewsbury. We have the Towers, Francis Gardens, Elizabeth Gardens, and a few other smaller complexes around the town. I don't like those particular senior housing. Why? Why? Because there's no kids there, there's no younger people there. Plant the older people into these housing units. And believe me, there's a waiting list in those housing units. And you don't necessarily have to be from Shrewsbury to get on that waiting list either. You kind of wonder about these things. Does politics play a role? Of course it does. And at any rate, so those are the main problems that seniors will have. And what are we doing about it in Shrewsbury? So far, I haven't given them an A+. So far, we got maybe a C- or a D in most of these areas as far as the administration here in the town. So, what do I propose? What do I know? Well, I do know a few things, you know. After 80 years, in fact, I just turned 80. I want you to know that. I had my whole family came up from different parts of the country and all. It was a surprise birthday party for me. I turned 80. Wonderful, hey. So, at any rate, I have learned something over the years, especially now about seniors. So, what would I propose? Well, number one, we got to get seniors more involved in the community. We are a community. We're not just younger people, middle-aged people, elderly people. We are an integral part of the community. There's over 8,300 seniors in town, which is just about the number of kids in town. So we are part of that community. And as far as I'm concerned, the seniors are not getting their share of the community resources that are available. And that is strictly because of ageism. Ageism, that discriminatory ageism. So what do I propose? Number one, I would like to see a mentoring program. Senior and a student. Why not? We're almost equal numbers. The seniors have a lot of experience. A lot of the people have worked for years in their professions. They're very, very good at it. A lot of the seniors still have all their faculties. They could be an excellent mentor for the children as well. You just have to start the program. Start it. I'm not hearing a thing about that from the superintendent of schools. He just goes up, looks, he hardly ever looks anywhere except onto the tablet in front of him, and asks for money. That's basically it. He needs to get involved with this as well, and as well as our selectmen. So number one, I'd like to see a mentoring program. Number two, I would also like to see more intergenerational housing. In other words, don't put the seniors all into a place where they're away from the rest of society. Have them participate in society. Again, their experience, immeasurable. You can't put a dollar figure on it. Have them participate in the community. Make that intergenerational housing and affordable housing. Okay, that's number two. Number three, I would also like to see seniors get involved with community projects. Now, a community project needs to be started somewhere. Somebody has to take the initiative to get it going. We have to depend on particular volunteers, and we know all the volunteers in town. It's the same ones who are doing the things for the town. Same people. They're very, very good at it. This should not necessarily have to be done by volunteers. You need somebody who's on that board of selectmen who has the guts to go out with a program that would be community-wide so that everybody can participate together. All of the young, middle, and elder people together. So we need those things going on. They're not going on now, and it is a shame. It is a shame. So, I understand that there are problems that people have with seniors, and, we always treat seniors with this ageism in mind. Old men are fart factories. I can't tell you, I turned 80, like I said, can't tell you the number of cards I got referring to gas. Some of them are pretty funny, they're very, very innovative cards, but my God, most of them were related to gas. Okay, I can accept the joke part. Women, they're looked upon as matrons, cronies. Talk about something, talk about somebody else, talk about your neighbor, all this nonsense. This is not the way the seniors are. So, again, this is ageism working. I think that in Shrewsbury we have Junism, discrimination against the seniors in favor of the young people. That's called Junism. Now, it's a kind of a serious accusation, I know, but darn it, it's true. It's true. So, I know that, when we were educated, we were prepared for a different world. We didn't have all of the things you have now. It's wonderful. All the technology, etc. It's wonderful stuff. But it's also poisoning the minds of the kids who are using it. They're ignoring the world and looking at their iPads, spending all their time doing that. And these kids are smart. These kids are not dumb. They can learn. That iPad is not the ideal way to learn. You've got to interact. You've got to have that social aspect to learning. That's also beginning to be missed now in society. So, our grandkids and all, and we love our grandkids, let's face it, are being raised now in a totally different environment. So what are we going to do? I told you what we should do in Shrewsbury. And we got to use our wisdom. We got to use our patience, because that is an essential part of elder. We are slow to react, yes, because we are thinking things out before we come out with it. There's no just pinpoint, gonna do this, do that. We think about it first. We think about all the aspects. Will my decision maybe hurt somebody? Will my decision have further problems later on? So we think about it. We sit back and think, and then make our decision on things. Nothing wrong with that. That comes from experience and wisdom. So this is one of the things that I think is very important. In Scandinavia, they have a program where there's all intergenerational living. There's no senior housing only. Intergenerational living. And it's working well, very well. Why can't we learn from things like this? Why? Because of the buck. Everything is done because of money, let's face it. And that's why in Massachusetts we're ranked number 48 out of 50 states on a good place to retire, which is how we started this whole darn program, right?
Right.
So, okay, Bob, you got anything else you got to say?
You're right as far as having the selectmen and some of the other boards kick in with their ideas and have a joint session with the seniors, like a quorum in the town hall. See what happens after that. And
well, I'd like to see that type of program happen.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to throw barbs at people.
No.
You know, I just want to see something positive being done. That's all. And that's what most seniors want. They just want to live peacefully,
Right.
enjoy the things that they have.
Right.
You know, that's really the big issue. And like I said, having been at the senior center for, well, it started in 2000, almost 20 years at the senior center.
Yeah.
There was a few things that came across. There's a few things that I gained from that. No progress has been done. And these are positive things now that I'm trying to get across to people, what we can do to implement this, to get things better for the seniors, and try to influence this ageism that's present.
There's no great wonder about the library they built. The seniors could care less.
But the library, at least, it's a good place. It's
Yeah.
nice that we have it. I mean,
Yeah.
did we need it? Nah, I don't know, but it is a good place. And Ellen Dolan's done a great job there. She does do a lot of intergenerational stuff, and I do give her credit for. Too bad she's retiring, you know. But at any rate, you know, I'm not that much against the new library. I tell you, I was really against putting in this pretty expensive football field. You know, what the heck did we need artificial turf? Big bucks for artificial turf. Had nothing to do with education. This is what schools are for education.
The answer I got was so the kids won't cut their knees.
Oh, geez.
You
and I played on turf.
On rocks.
We played on turf, for God's
Jesus
sakes, you know? That just drove me nuts when I saw that they were going to do this.
Yeah,
And they did.
yeah,
They went right ahead, you know, so...
The word in town is always a word, or the famous word is infrastructure.
Yeah.
That's all I hear, infrastructure, infrastructure. We don't know no infrastructure, especially the Beale School. About 10 years ago, they had a brand new sprinkler system in it and a fire alarm system. So all that money's down the drain now because you big shots want to worry about infrastructure. So no, if Northborough builds a school, you got to build one too. If Southborough builds a school, you got to build one too. That's a lot of baloney. That's peer pressure, and you shouldn't be an elected official or appointed official if that's where it's going.
Well, that is a problem, and you're right. If another town does it, then you got to do it.
That's right.
You know, you can't let that town look better than you.
That's
you
right.
know?
That's right. That's right.
It's a crazy situation like
that's
that.
right.
But so at any rate, I also wanted to mention too. We have a lot more immigrants in town now.
Yeah.
They practice what they preach.
Yeah.
They have a lot of intergenerational living. That's the way they were brought up.
Yeah.
They have their grandmother, their grandfather, maybe even further, living with them in their house.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see them in the nursing homes. And so it can work. It can work.
That's right.
So I'm a big believer in intergenerational living, as a matter of fact. And I benefit from it. I love to have the kids around. I really do. But if we're going to give a lot of money to the schools, a lot of money to the school department and all, let's bring them back into the community. It's not all give, take. Bring them into the community. You want to have some money, you want to get this expanded? Then let's have, say, this program so that you have a senior mentor or something like that.
Well, the day they buried Mr. Connie, God rest his soul, was 2014. They had a Prop 2.5 override. And who do you think took money out of the Prop 2.5 override? Dr. Sawyer, $123,000.
Whoa.
He needed a raise. He needed a raise.
That's a good raise.
Yeah.
And I also noticed that every year they get 4% raise, the teachers. It always works out to 4%.
Yeah.
And what? What do we get for Social Security? We got 1.6%. 1.6. The cost of living in this area is almost 3%.
Yeah.
You know, so it's really a crazy thing out there.
It is.
But you can see where the skew is. You can see where it is.
People say I'm crazy doing what I'm doing, but I enjoy doing what I'm doing. If it aggravates some officials and some parents, good, because who the hell wants to spend money on buildings and fixing the flagpoles and all this other baloney? It should be on the children, on the seniors. They have a axe to grind, the seniors, if they have enough strength. They started Shrewsbury, and their forefathers started Shrewsbury. They have no respect whatsoever, these people. Well, anyway, we're all done with this show. You're going to do your show next?
Yep.
Okay, we'll see you next time, Doc.
Okay, very good.